Hello, welcome back to the YouTube channel. I am Nick from Australia. Welcome to the Sunday football review for round one of the NRL. We saw two games of football. Today we saw the Canberra Raiders knock off the West Tigers down there at GIO Stadium in Canberra, 30 points to 12. And we saw the big rivalry game tonight between the Cronulla Sharks and the Dragons, where the Sharks got the win there, 32 points to 18. If you're new around here, make sure you hit that subscribe button. And I want to say real quick, if you were following my tips, I got 8 from 8 in round one of the NRL. 8 from 8. Won me $325. So, very happy with that result. So, 8 from 8 in round one. So, hopefully we can back it up in round two. I have a 100% tipping record so far to start the year. So, we'll see how we go. But, welcome to the Sunday Football Review. We're going to get into the Raiders and Tigers game and the Dragons and the Sharks game in a minute. But, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. It is much appreciated. So, let's get into the game. So, we'll go back to the first game, which was at 4 o'clock down there at GIO Stadium in Canberra, where the Raiders, they were too good for the West Tigers. And the game started off pretty interesting, in the 10th minute there. The Raiders, I thought they scored the first try there. Elliot Whitehead with a nice little offload there to Sebastian Kris. The referee said it was a no try because there was a knock on. So, unlucky there for the Raiders. And then, 20 minutes into the game, I thought the Tigers were doing very well. They were aiming up in defence. They were going very hard. I thought they were doing a great job there in the first half, the West Tigers. I thought they were playing very well. And then the Tigers, in the 27th minute, the Tigers scored the first try. Luke Brooks got the ball. He stepped back on the inside, and he gave it to Jacob Little. He went over for the first try, which was pretty interesting. And Luke Brooks converted the goal. Tigers up 6-0 early. It's looking like the Tigers are going to upset the Raiders at one point. They were playing very well, the Tigers were. The Raiders, for mine, they were a bit ordinary in the first half. A lot of errors, a lot of combinations were a bit all over the shop. They were a little bit flat, the Raiders. The Tigers, they were going very well. And then in the 37th minute, George Williams put in a little kick. It ricocheted off Luke Garner, and Jordan Rapinoe ended up scoring the try. George Williams converts the goal. Half-time, Raiders 6, Tigers 6. It's anyone's game. I was saying to a few people at half-time, I said, look, if the Raiders just hold the ball and be patient, they'll run away with this against the West Tigers. And, the Tigers are doing okay, and then in the 42nd minute, the Raiders, they started the second half really well. They got off to a good start. And in the 42nd minute, George Williams, he brought Ryan James under. Ryan James went over and scored for the Raiders. And you know what? It was a good moment there for Ryan James. He hasn't played a game for 2 years. It's a very good story about Ryan James. And he was talking about retiring. So he scored a try for the Raiders off the bench. And George Williams converted. Raiders had 12-6. And it's looking good for the Raiders. And then in the 50th minute, Dane Laurie rips the ball out of Jack Whiten's hands. A penalty goal there from George Williams. Canberra lead 14-6. And I'm going, well, if Canberra score again, it's over. Tigers won't come back from that. And then, not long after that, George Williams, we all thought he scored a try, but Ryan Sutton, unfortunately, took out Dane Laurie, who didn't have the ball. So, no try to George Williams. And then in the 57th minute, I think this is where the game pretty much ended. George Williams put up a bomb. Bailey Simonson caught it. Back on the inside to Hudson Young. He scores. Williams converts. Raiders 20-6. There's about 15 minutes to go, and I'm going, well, that's pretty much game over now. Tigers won't come back from this. And then in the 69th minute, the Tigers, they lost the ball. Curtis Scott gave it to Chance Nickel-Klokstad. He goes down the sideline. He scores in the corner. Williams misses the kick. 24-6. Pretty much game over. And then the Tigers score a late try there in the 73rd minute. James Roberts with a flick over to Nofaluma. He scores in the corner. Luke Brooks converts from the sideline. It was a great conversion, actually. Had a really good swing on it. 24-12 Canberra. Game's pretty much over. Tigers can't score 2 tries. They're in all sorts. And then Rapana scores in the corner again, and George Williams converts it 30-12, and that ends up being the ball game. But look, I thought the Tigers, they were okay. They showed up for periods of the game, but they just weren't able to go the full 80 minutes with the Raiders. The Raiders were mine. Second half, they were very good. They were a bit off in the first half, but they just got the business done. The Raiders got the business done, and they were just too good for the West Tigers. But a couple of good players for the Raiders. I thought George Williams was very good. Thought Hudson Young had a good game. Jordan Rapana played well. Sebastian Chris. Dunamis Lui was quite solid. Sia Soliol off the bench was good. Ryan James had a great game. I thought the Raiders were too good for the Tigers there. As for the Tigers, thought Lushani Leilua played all right. Dane Laurie played okay. The Tigers, they weren't bad, but the Raiders were just a little bit too good there for the West Tigers. But my top 3 players on ground for this game, in the Raiders-Tigers game, I'm going to go number 3, Ryan James. Number 2 is going to go to Hudson Young. And number 1, my man of the match, it's going to go to George Williams. I thought he had a fantastic game. Had about 2 or 3 try assists. Kicked about 5 goals. Had a really good game, George Williams. So he is my man of the match. And the Raiders, too good for the West Tigers down there at GIO Stadium. And the second game, which just ended, it was the Sharks beating the Dragons, 32-18. Now, at halftime, I was a little bit nervous because obviously I had a multi, and I'll get to the halftime report in a minute, but I thought the Sharks were nowhere near their best in this game. I thought they were okay without being brilliant, but the Sharks, they got off to a good start in the 6th minute. Chad Townsend put in a nice little grubber kick there. A little bit of miscommunication there from Ben Hunt and Matt Duffy, and Josh Dugan capitalised. He scored the first try. Townsend converts. Cronulla leads 6-0 early. And then in the 15th minute, the Sharks with a little bit of a block play there. Townsend gave it to Will Kennedy. He put a kick through. Tarek Sims knocked it on. Will Kennedy scored. Townsend converts it again. Sharks lead 12-0 after 15 minutes. I'm going, well, if the Dragons don't be careful, it could be anything. And then in the 19th minute, this is where it got interesting. Jesse Raymond with a little bit of a dog shot on Matt Duffy. I thought it was disgusting. Duffy had the ball, and they was about to get tackled, and then Raymond came in with a swinging arm. It was a dog shot. He went to the sin bin for 10 minutes, which was the right decision. I thought Ronaldo Mulatalo was lucky not to be sin bin as well. He came in with a little bit of a punch, slap, whatever you want to call it. So Mulatalo was lucky not to be in the sin bin, but Sharks are down to 12 at this point, and the Dragons did absolutely nothing when the Sharks had 12 players on the field. Sharks ended up getting a penalty goal there in the 23rd minute. Sharks lead 14-0. Ends up being 14-0 at halftime. Sharks are looking pretty okay, but I was saying to a few people on Instagram at halftime, I said, if the Dragons hold the ball and score the first try in the second half, they are capable of winning this game. Both of the Sharks' tries in the first half were off kicks. So the Sharks weren't doing anything impressive. They had a lot of possession, and they scored 2 tries of kicks and a penalty goal. So for mine, the Sharks were playing all right, but they weren't doing anything brilliant in my opinion. The Dragons were doing okay in that first half, and then in the 48th minute, this is where I thought the Dragons were coming back. Ben Hunt put up a bomb, and Mulatalo and Will Kennedy had a little bit of miscommunication. The ball bounced, and then Adam Clune scooped it up and scored. And Lomas converts the conversion. Sharks 14-6. And I'm going, wow, here we go. It's the 48th minute. 14-6 Cronulla. Long way to go in this game. Dragons are coming back. And then in the 55th minute, probably the try of the game, Ben Hunt just steps back on the inside around the halfway line. Inside ball to Matt Duffy. He runs, beats about 3 or 4 players, scores under the post. It is 14-12 in favour of the Sharks. It's the 55th minute, and I'm sitting there going, what the hell did I say at halftime? What did I say at halftime? The Dragons are coming. They score first and second half. Game on. And it was game on. Look out. And then an unlucky moment, the 62nd minute, Cody Ramsey scores, injures his ankle. The referee calls try, and I'm sitting there going, you're kidding. And I was like, what the hell's going on here? The Dragons are coming back. The Sharks are choking this game out. And unfortunately for the Dragons, it was a knock-on from Jack Bird. No try to Cody Ramsey. He injures his ankle. goes off the field, doesn't return. I think he sprained his ankle. I'll find out more about that through the week. So, no try to the Dragons. And then at the 64th minute, Ronaldo Mulitalo scored a very nice try for the Sharks. Townsend converts a pretty big kick from the sideline. Cronulla 20, St. George 12. I'm thinking, well, the Dragons have to defend now. They're in trouble. They have to defend. And they did the complete opposite. The Sharks, they got him again through Will Kennedy off a scrum play. It was a nice play. Townsend, it was like Kennedy gave it to Mulitalo. Back inside to Kennedy. He scores. The Sharks lead 24-12. Townsend converts the goal. Sharks are up 26-12. It's game over. And then in the 74th minute, Ben Hunt put a crossfield kick over. Mulitalo and Lomax missed it. Ravalawa picked it up and scored. Lomax converts the conversion from the sideline. It's 26-18. And I'm thinking, there's 5 minutes to go. It's an 8-point game. There is like a 20% chance of the Dragons still coming back, but it was unlikely to happen. And with about 2 minutes to go, of all people, Aaron Woods picks up the ball, just runs through a little bit of a gap, and he reaches out and scores. Townsend converts. Sharks win 32 points to 18. And you know what? For a local derby between two sides that I thought were both pretty average, wasn't a bad game of football at all. It wasn't awful. There were a few errors. It was wet and slippery down there at Cogra. But look, the Sharks for mine, they were a little bit better, but the Sharks scored about 3 or 4 tries off kicks. So I don't know how much you can take out of a team scoring a lot of tries off kicks, but at the end of the day, the Sharks were too good for the Dragons. The Dragons, they tried hard in the second half, but, you know, rugby league goes for 80 minutes, not 40 minutes. So, unlucky for the Dragons. I thought they were a good chance there in the second half, but the Sharks, just a little bit too good in the end. But some of the good players for the Sharks, you know, I thought Will Kennedy had a great game. I thought Josh Dugan played well. Toby Rudolph played well. Aiden Tolman off the bench was quite solid. Woods had a good game. Ronaldo Mulitalo wasn't too bad. Chad Townsend was okay. Moreland was a little bit quiet for mine. Blake Bradley had a strong game for the Sharks. As for the Dragons, you know, not a lot of standouts for them. You know, I thought Matt Duffy was probably one of their best players. I thought Ben Hunt was a little bit average. He was okay. McCulloch was good in defence, but not good enough. And the Sharks, a little bit too good for the Dragons. My top 3 players on ground for this one. I want to see how many run minutes Toby Rudolph got in the ankles. Toby Rudolph, man, Rudolph had a really, really good game for mine. Yeah, that's a fair call. So, my top 3 players on ground. Number 3 is going to go to Josh Dugan. I thought he was quite good for the Sharks. Number 2 is going to go to Toby Rudolph. And number 1, my man of the match, it's going to go to Will Kennedy. I thought he had a really good game, and he deserves to be man of the match. But anyway, guys, if you enjoyed the Sunday Night Football review, make sure you guys go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching. I got 8 out of 8. Let me know in the comment section below how many tips did you get right this round. Anyway, guys, I'm getting out of here. Have a fantastic Sunday night, and I'll see you guys in the next one.